Good day, everyone. So today we'll be discussing about trematodes. This will be the second and the last part of our midterms for the MT Clean Para. Uh, So once again, this is also under platyhelminths or flatworms. So similar with the cestodes, ang mga trematodes are under the phylum Platyhelminths or the flatworms. No? Therefore, similar with your cestodes, they are flat cross-sectionally. And ang class na tawag sa kanila is Trematoda or otherwise known as your Digenea. Okay, please take note of that. Now, we can differentiate the trematodes into two, no? Depende dun sa kanilang mode of transmission. Ganun lang kasimple yan. The first part would be your foodborne hermaphroditic, no? And then the other trematodes are also known as your blood flukes, no? So they are blood and they have two sexes, okay? They are dioecious, kumbaga. So again, you have your foodborne hermaphroditic or those that are monoecious trematodes. And the second one is your blood flux or your dioecious trematodes. So for the general characteristics, okay, it is similar in the sense of the nematodes in a sense of their segmentations. Unang-una sa lahat, both nematodes as well as trematodes, they are unsegmented. It's a much contrast between sa ating mga cestodes which are segmented, no? So wala siyang segmentations. Diretso lang. They are flat and broad and of course they are leaf-like. Except for, so makikita nyo may asterisks, except for the blood flukes. Kasi they are cylindrical and they are dioecious. Okay? Balikan natin yan later. All of our trematodes, yung itlog nila, they develop in water. And lalabas doon yung first larval stage, which is your miracidium. Sure, it's similar with your Diphyllobothrium, di ba? So yes, it's similar with Coracidium. It's similar. Okay? Pero tandaan nyo, in terms of trematodes, when we talk about trematodes, miracidium ang pinag-uusapan as the first larval stage. They do not have circulatory system, please take note of that, and they have incomplete digestive tract. Ibig sabihin, it's similar with your cestodes, wala silang anus, no? Walang anal tract. Therefore, yung kung ang paglalabas yung waste products, it's same with your cestodes. Gagamit sila ng tegument or yung sa balat nila mismo. Doon lalabas yung waste. Next, most of our trematodes are hermaphrodite or monoecious. So similar with your cestodes, both the female as well as the male reproductive organs can be found on a single species or a single organism. Ayan. So for example, ito, both ovary and the testis is present on a single organism. Again, meron tayong asterisk except for blood flux because they are dioecious. Therefore, merong male, merong female. Okay? And lastly, for the last general characteristics, they only have two suckers. May asterisk na naman to. Except for heterophyes. So later on, I think meron naman akong um, different slide for this one. Ang heterophyes, it has three suckers. So ano ba yung dalawang suckers na yun? So meron siyang oral sucker and meron siyang ventral sucker. So later on, we'll further discuss about it. So trematodes or otherwise known as your flukes, no? Pag sinabing flukes, yung leaf-like, yung parang sa Tagalog yung mga linta, no? Parang ganun yung itsura nila. So they are hermaphrodites specifically for foodborne, pair or monoecious. Pag dioecious naman, this is for your blood flukes. They have complex life cycle pero we can just um, single it out, no? And we can generalize it later kasi pare-pareho lang sila. Okay? Pare-pareho lang for the hermaphrodites, pare-pareho lang din for your blood flux. Next, ayan, they have two attachment organ. They have your oral, the ventral, which is also known as the acetabulum. And again, yung heterophyes, that is the only trematode that has three suckers. So meron siyang oral, ventral, and the third one is the genital sucker, otherwise known as the gonotyl. Again, isa lang yan ha, si heterophyes. Next, for your first one is your foodborne flukes, or also known as your organ-dwelling flukes. Ang itlog nila, most of them, they are operculated. In fact, lahat ng clinically significant organ-dwelling flukes or foodborne hermaphroditic flukes, operculated. Ano nga bang itsura ng operculated or operculum? Yung may lid, no? Yung may parang bukasan, no? May lid. So, meron silang operculum. Sino yung mga yan? Mga foodborne hermaphroditic or the organ-dwelling flukes. So, ganito yung kanilang general larval stage. Meron tayong miracidium, papasok sa snail. Meron tayong tinatawag na SRC, sporocyst, rhidia, and cercaria. Okay, ulitin ko. Miracidium, papasok sa snail, sa loob ng snail, magaganap itong SRC, sporocyst, rhidia, and then cercaria. Cercaria, lalabas yan sa snail and magta-transform into metacercaria. And the fact na nakakulay red yan, ibig sabihin that is the infective stage to the definitive host, metacercaria. Sa lahat na po yan, no? Sa lahat ng organ dwelling, sa lahat ng foodborne hermaphroditic flukes or trematodes. Okay? Ulitin natin for the larval stage. So, of course, so gawin na natin life cycle. Ova, which is operculated. Lalabas yung miracidium. Yung miracidium papasok sa first intermediate host, which is usually the snail. Sa loob ng snail, magiging sporocyst, rhidia, and then cercaria. Yung cercaria, lalabas sa snail, magta-transform into the infective stage, which is the metacercaria. Okay, next. The adults are flat, leaf-like with acetabulum, and they are all hermaphrodite. Again, both the male and the female reproductive organs, no, are present on a single species. Okay, so lahat ng hermaphrodites, ang first intermediate host nila is snail. Okay? Medyo may pagkakaiba na lang dyan in terms of their specific species. But generally, all of them are snails. And tandaan nyo, sa loob ng snail, since it is an intermediate host, nagkakaroon ng asexual development. Sporocyst, Iridia, Cercaria. Tandaan nyo yan. Next, we also have a second intermediate host wherein yung Cercaria papasok dyan para mag-develop siya into the infective stage, which is the Metacercaria. So, pwedeng water or plants or vegetation for the FFF or yung Fasciola, Fasciolopsis, and the other Fasciola. Pwede ring crabs or crayfish, your Paragonimus, and pwede ring fish or freshwater fish usually, yung Heterophyes, Opisturkis, Clonarchis. And of course, pwede ring larger snails, which is for your Echinostoma and Artificinistomum. Yun, medyo mahirap yung A eh. The definitive hosts are usually ruminants. What do we mean by ruminants? So these are your animals that eat on vegetations, no? Yung mga grass eaters, okay? Yung mga cattle, goat, ganon, sheep, etc. And of course, humans. Mode of transmission, of course, since these are all foodborne, ingestion of undercooked or contaminated, kung ano man yung nandito, second intermediate host, with the Metacercaria. Okay? So, ganun lang kasimple. On the other hand, pag sinabi namang blood flux, no, yan yung mga schistosomes. And in contrast with your organ-dwelling or your hermaphroditic foodborne, they are non-operculated ova but with spines. So later, we'll have a distinguishing characteristic of each of the schistosome species, no? Kung depende dun sa spine nila. For their larval stage, again, hindi siya katulad nung foodborne trematodes, no? So, from ova, non-operculated ova, lalabas yung miracidium. Okay, same lang. And papasok sa first intermediate host, which is from sporocyst, magiging cercaria. Take note, hindi na siya magiging iridia, no? So, wala na yung letter R. So, diretso na siya ang maging cercaria. And paglabas niya, yun na yun. That is the infective stage. This is already the infective stage. Again, this is the schistosomes or the blood flux from non-operculated ova with spines. Lalabas yung miracidium, papasok sa first intermediate host which is your snail. Again, sporocyst magiging cercaria, and then that cercaria lalabas sa snail. That is the infective stage. The adults are elongated and cylindrical, and they are also dioecious. Ibig sabihin, meron kang babae and meron kang lalaki. Ayan, dinawin ko siya, no? So, the female is this one. Sorry, baliktad. This is the male and this is the female. Okay, so later we'll discuss on that, no? The definitive host are your cats, dogs, and humans. And the mode of transmission is again different na naman from your foodborne. This one is skin penetration of Cercaria. Take note of the differences Number one, ang mga hermaphroditic, they are operculated, whereas yung ating mga blood flux or schistosomes, they are non-operculated. Ang mga um, hermaphroditic, foodborne, Miracidium SRC, and then Metacercaria. Metacercaria being the infective stage. Whereas yung ating schistosomes, Miracidium, Sporocyst, and then Cercaria. And again, ang mga blood flux, walang second intermediate host. Whereas yung ating mga foodborne, meron silang second intermediate host. Okay? So again, these are OVA diagnostic stage characteristic. So these are your trematodes na already matured kapag pinanganak, or also known as they are already embryonated upon oviposition ng adult stage. So meron tayong SHOCM, Schistosoma heterophyes, Opistorchis, Clonorchis, and Metagonymous. On the other hand, meron din tayong mga immature when laid, or also known as your unembryonated. So we have your PAE, FF, Paragonimus, Artifekinostomum, Echinostoma, Fasciola, and Fasciolopsis. So here are some pictures of your foodborne trematodes, no, or yung mga hermaphroditic na trematodes. Take note that they are leaf-like and flat. And here is a list of the species that you need to familiarize for trematodes, no? Fasciolopsis busci, heterophyes, Metagonimus yokogawai, Echinostoma ilocanum, Artifekinostomum malayanum. So these are all intestinal. For your liver, we have your Fasciola hepatica and Fasciola gigantica, Clonorchis sinensis, and Opistorchis filineus. And for your lungs, isa lang, Paragonimus westermani. And lastly, for your dioecious blood flux, you have your Schistosoma mansoni, Japonicum, and Hematobium. So again, ito po yung ating general life cycle for your foodborne trematodes or your organ-dwelling trematodes. So itlog, operculated, Miracidium, intermediate host, magkakaroon ng SRC, lalabas yung Cercaria, pupunta sa second intermediate host, and then magde-develop into the Metacercaria, which is your infective stage. On the other hand naman, kung gagawin natin siyang blood fluke, gagawin mo lang unoperculated with spines. Magiging Miracidium, papasok sa snail. And then Sporocyst, tanggalin mo yung rhizia, diretso na into a Cercaria. And then the Cercaria is diretso na sa final host. So that is your blood flux on the other hand. So again, this is a picture for your hermaphroditic trematode. So here are some live pictures. Macroscopic na yan So ito, macroscopic. On your naked eye, makikita mo. But that that's too large, no? Medyo smaller pa ng konti. So, yan, mukha talaga silang linta. Ayan, macroscopically. This is microscopic and already stained. Pero ito unstained, no? Makikita nyo, they are flesh-colored. Okay, next. On the other hand is your schistosoma or your blood flux. So as you can see, ayan, ito yung lalaki, meron siyang gynecophoral canal. So later, di-discuss natin yan. Ito yung babae, papasok dun sa canal. Okay? So first, we discuss about the organ-dwelling trematodes. And first things first is your intestinal flux. Ang pinakauna is your Fasciolopsis busci. Fasciolopsis busci is considered as the largest fluke of man or ng tao. That's why ang common name niya is the large intestinal fluke. And ang habitat nito is your small intestine. The key feature is wala siyang no cephalic cone. Okay, yung adult stage niya, walang cephalic cone and unbranched yung kanyang intestinal ceca. So, ito po. So, the itlog is indistinguishable with the others, no? Magkakamuka, especially with the Fasciola species, no? Yeah, diretso na tayo sa adult. So, in the adult stage, as you can see, does not have a cephalic cone. Please take note of that, no? High yield yan sa mga board exam questions, no? Ayan. Anong ibig sabihin pag walang cephalic cone? Ito po. Usually kasi, yung itsura nila is may nagpo-protrude sa bandang dulo. And siya, diretso lang. Okay? So, as you can see, diretso lang yung sa kanya. Okay? Next. So, this is the life cycle. So, ano yung pinagkaiba lang? The first intermediate host is also known as your Segmentina hippiatus na snails. So, I believe yung next slide, meron naman ako spelling nun. And for the second intermediate host, okay, meron tayong water caltrops or yung Trapa bicornis. And yung pinakasikat is yung Ipomea obscura or kangkong and Nymphomea lotus. Okay, sulat natin. For your second intermediate host, we have your water caltrops. Meron din tayong kangkong or yung Ipomea obscura. And of course, meron tayong lotus or yung Nymphomea lotus. So those are the second intermediate host. For the first intermediate host, again, snail lang yan. Pero to be specific, your Segmentina or Hippoiotis. So, a quick review lang ng life cycle. Again, an embryonated, operculated na itlog, okay, magiging miracidium, papasok sa snail, SRC, lalabas yung cercaria, pupunta sa second intermediate host, which is your water caltrop, kangkong, Nymphomea lotus, and mag-evolve into metacercaria, which is the infective stage to the definitive host. Ano yung habitat niya? Small intestine. Okay? So, please, pakitandaan yan, ha? Okay, next. So, okay na to. So, humans are considered also as accidental, but there are a lot of books naman and consensus naman na they are now considered as definitive host as well. For the lab diagnosis, we have your stool as your specimen of choice, of course, being this is an intestinal fluke. The patient's symptoms and travel history is necessary for egg identification, and we have your speciation in the recovery of adult worm. So, yung both the itlogs as well as the adult worm, lalabas naman yan sa stool. So, those are your diagnostic stages. So, you can also use ELISA, entero test, and gel diffusion test for the serum of your patient. So, we have what we call fasciolopsiasis, or the presence of Fasciolopsis buski on your small intestine. It would cause abdominal discomfort, inflammation, and sometimes bleeding, jaundice, diarrhea, gastric discomfort, edema. It also mimic duodenal cancer. Now, it's similar um, with your Capillaria philippinensis in a sense na nagkakos din siya ng malabsorption syndrome. Okay, yung nagiging pale yung stool ng patient mo. And medyo hindi na-absorb ng maayos yung mga nutrients sa mga kinakain mo. Okay? So, malabsorption syndrome. Sino kasi yan? Fasciolopsis buski. And here are some examples of your Fasciolopsis buski. Ayan. Ito. Ayan. So, you can see walang cephalic cone. And this is your Segmentina and Hepiotis, yung first intermediate host. So, ayan, of course, prevention and control. Avoid human consumption of raw water plants or contaminated water. Praziquantel, triclabendazole. Next, for your intestinal, meron din tayong Echinostoma ilocanum and your Artifechinostomum malayanum. Okay? So the common name is yung kanyang Garrison's fluke, specifically for your Echinostoma ilocanum. And these are digenetic trematodes with collar of spines. Please take note of that, no? Yan ang pinaka-importante. Both Echinostoma ilocanum and Artifechinostomum malayanum, they both have collar spines. So ito yan. Ayan. Meron silang mga spines. And the target organ is just similar since intestinal to small intestine then. Ayan. So again, it's very difficult to distinguish, especially their ova. No? They are all operculated. Ito naman yung Artifechinostomum. Again, it's difficult to distinguish. Sometimes it is golden brown. However, remember na nasa stool yan, so pwedeng matakpan ng mga brown artifacts. No? So, not entirely na lagi siyang golden brown. And this is your Echinostoma ilocanum morphology, reddish gray. Basta tandaan nyo lang dyan, collar spines. Okay? Pag nakita nyo na yan, uy, Echinostoma ilocanum or Artifechinostomum malayanum. So this is your Artifechinostomum malayanum. Again, collar spines. Huwag nyo nang tignan yung mga iba. No? You can just learn about it in the future. Pero yung high yield dyan, ito, yung collar of spines. So, ayan, ulit-ulit tayo ha. Collar of spines, sino yan? Echinostoma ilocanum and Artifechinostomum malayanum. So, again, it's just the same life cycle. So, yung kanyang first intermediate host is si Hepeutis and si Gairaulus. Pero tandaan nyo, sino yung second intermediate host? Ay, sorry, hindi yan. Si Hipiotis yan. Ito. Second intermediate host. So, again, ova, miracidium, SRC, cercaria, and then pupunta sa second intermediate host. Ito, focus tayo dito sa snail na to. Ang pangalan niyan ay Pila luzonica. Okay? Pila luzonica. So, yan yung carrier ng Metacercaria or the infective stage of your Echinostoma ilocano. Okay? So, ayan, it is reported in Southeast Asia and since nasa pangalan niya, Ilocanum. So, it's endemic in northern Luzon and sometimes sa Leyte, Samar, and some provinces of Mindanao. Pag sinabi namang Artificinostomum malayanum, mayroon yan in northern and central Luzon. So for the diagnosis, since it is also intestinal fluke, therefore stool is the specimen of choice. Yan. For the clinical symptoms, please take note, sa kanya is what we call a catarrhal inflammation. What do we mean by catarrhal inflammation? It is the inflammation at the site of attachment, no? So kung saan naka-attach or nakahalik yung suckers ng fluke na to, ng echinostoma, okay, nagkakaroon ng matinding pamamaga. So imagine niyo, yan yung intestinal wall nyo, nakahalik dyan yung fluke. So mamamaga yung part na yan. And tawag natin doon, catarrhal inflammation. So of course, it would cause ulcerations and diarrhea, sometimes bloody. So absorption of metabolites from the worms may result to general intoxication. So nagkakaroon ng release of antigenic waste or immune-mediated reaction. So here are the examples of your catarrhal inflammation. Ayan, namamaga siya. So yun, kakaroon ng ulcerations din. Okay? So ito yun, yung ating Hippiutis at saka Gairaulus. Ayan, Gairaulus, Hippiutis, saka si Gairaulus. And the second intermediate host is your Pila luzonica, specifically for your Echinostoma ilocanum. Treatment is praziquantel. By the way, bakit first intermediate host and second intermediate host magkaibang snails, no? Yung first intermediate host, they are usually small snails, maliliit na snails, no? Yung imagine niyo sa bagoong, may maliliit na shrimps doon, 'di ba? And sometimes nahaluan 'yun ng maliliit na snails, no? Sa or yung sa seashore, yung mga maliliit na snails, ganun kaliit yung mga first intermediate host. The second intermediate host, if in the context of your echinostoma, mas malaki yung snails na yun. Okay? So, next. And next is for your intestinal pa rin tayo. We have your heterophyes, and your Metagonimus yokogawai. Heterophyes is also known as your heterophyid fluke or your von Siebold's fluke to be specific, no? The commonly associated disease dito is your heterophiasis, and it is also known as your smallest fluke of man, pinakamaliit. But it is the deadliest. Okay? So, bakit sila deadliest? Because sa sobrang liit nila, they are capable of entering yung blood vessels and could cause embolism, no? Ano kasing embolism? Nagkakaroon ng blockage. So, pag pumasok sila sa blood vessels mo, tas nag-block sila dyan, ano mangyayari? Of course, heart failure. And kung sa utak naman, stroke. No? So, pwede nilang i-cause yun. Another one to take note is meron silang tinatawag na forecock circus sarcaria or yung kanilang sarcaria, yung bago maging intermediate, bago maging infective stage, no? Forecock circus or Y shape. Ayan, ganyan yung tsura niya. On the other hand, ang ating Metagonymous yokogawai, it is the heterophyte fluke. Ito, ang difference niya is Plurolophoscercus cercaria or lateral. So, kung ito Y shape, ito lateral yung kanya. Dito siya, sa gilid. Okay? Next, the egg. Once again, they are, of course, they are small, no? And they have less distinct shoulders than the Clonarchus sinensis. By the way, hindi nyo pa nakita si Clonarchus, no? So later pa lang natin siya di-discuss. But to give you an idea, since kinokompara natin siya, ang Clonarchus sinensis kasi, it's shaped like a light bulb, yung kanyang ova. No, ayan. Hindi ko nagbibigyan ng justice, no? Pero bear with me. Pero you can pause the video tapos just Google it. Okay? So you can compare. It's very difficult to distinguish kasi they are all operculated. But again, this is smaller since this is the smallest fluke. Ang ating heterophytes and Metagonymous yokogawai, they have smaller um, ova, smaller adult stage, and etc. Okay? Ayan. Okay, next. Ayan. Okay. So, for their adult stage, tandaan nyo, as I have mentioned earlier, lahat ng hermaphroditic foodborne flukes, they all have two suckers, except for heterophytes, which has three. So, this has what we call a gonotile or yung kanyang genital sucker. Okay, next. So, again, these are your pictures. Okay, next. So for your life cycle, again, this is just similar. Itlog, snail, first intermediate host, SRCs, lalabas sarcaria, and then magiging metasarcaria. So what is your second intermediate host? Your fresh or brackish water fishes. Okay? Wala tayong specific na um, species for your fish, no, in terms of your heterophytes as well as metagonymous. So any fresh or any brackish water fish. So this is the epidemiology. Take note, parehong may Philippines. For the lab diagnosis, since this is also an intestinal fluke that sometimes can go to your blood vessels, number one, of course, is stool. Okay, detection of eggs in stool using your KetoCats method. And PCR. Sir, paano kapag napunta na sa blood vessels? Don't worry since the normal habitat of your heterophytes, it would always be your intestines. So even though na meron na siya sa blood vessels mo, meron at meron pa rin yan na matatagpuan sa iyong intestines. So for your symptoms, we have your PUD or your peptic ulcer disease or acid peptic disease. So, parang nag-acid ka lagi, no? Due to ulcerations. Abdominal pain, discomfort, excessive mucus production, continuous or chronic mucus diarrhea, and high eosinophil count. And the eggs have the ability to escape into the lymphatics or venules via the intestinal wall penetration and migrate to the heart or brain, no? So ganun siya katindi, no? Since maliit siya, the eggs could penetrate your lymphatics and makapunta sa blood vessels, no? Via penetration and magkaroon ng heart attack or myocardial infarction or pwede ring stroke. And it could also cause granuloma once it becomes ectopic, no? Or kapag erratic, nakapag-travel siya um, sa ibang organs mo. On your serious complications, the ectopic eggs in the heart or brain could cause myocardial infarction or seizures. So bukod dun sa embolism, those eggs could also cause myocardial infarction and seizures or even comatose. So talagang deadliest siya. Okay? So for the prevention and control, avoid ingestion of raw, undercooked, or freshly picked freshwater fish. Control of hosts, such as your snails, fecal disposal, etc. And for the treatment, praziquantel. And that's it for your intestinal. The next one is for your liver flux. First is your Fasciola species. So meron tayong dalawa, Fasciola hepatica and the Fasciola gigantica. So what's the difference? Pag hepatica, this is your temperate liver fluke. Kapag naman Fasciola gigantica, this is your tropical liver fluke. What's the main difference of the two? Pag sinabing temperate, these are your cold climates. Pag sinabi namang tropical, of course, Pilipinas, tropical climates. But does that mean na sa Pilipinas, gigantika lang makikita? The answer is no. Pareho mo pa rin makikita yan. Nagkataon lang ganyan nila pinangalan in terms of their common name. But both of these species can be found in the Philippines. Commonly associated disease, the fascioliasis, and the target is liver and bile ducts. Tandaan nyo ha, these are organ dwelling and nasa liver na tayo, liver flux. This is fasciola. Yung kanina, fasciolopsis sa intestines yun. Pag fasciola, liver and bile ducts. Your humans are your definitive host and sometimes accidental din. So here is a video, no? I believe 10 years ago na to eh. No? Paano ba play? So as you can see, ayan, gumagalaw pa eh, no? Ayan, kita nyo may gumagalaw pa. Ay, hindi ko madrawingan, no? Anyways, ayan, um, this was a thesis project of my advisee 10 years ago yata to. Yeah, 10 years ago or 9 years ago. And they were studying about the Fasciola hepatica and Fasciola gigantica na present sa liver at sa bile ducts ng mga kinatay na baka na kambing sa Nueva Ecija. Next, for the itlog, again, they are operculated And they are indistinguishable pa rin. Okay? Lahat yan indistinguishable except for Clonorchis sinensis. And sometimes, sinasabi nila ang Gigantica, it's slightly larger, hence egg appearance. But it's not distinct, no, na sabihin na hence egg. Mahirap siyang ma-recognize. For the adult stage, as you saw earlier, no, meron silang cephalic cone, ito, with widening base of the cone or meron siyang shoulders, ito. Okay? Please take note of that. Sino yan? That's your fasciola. Sino kasi yung walang cephalic cone? That's your fasciolopsis. Okay? Okay, next. Ayan. For your life cycle, again, is just similar. Itlog, and then may residuum, papasok sa first intermediate host, which is your family of Limnaea. Yan, mga snail na under the family Limnaea. And then SRC, and then lalabas yung Cercaria, magiging Metacercaria sa second intermediate host, which is your kangkong and watercress. Kangkong and watercress. So that is your second intermediate host for your Fasciola hepatica and gigantica. Again, what is the first intermediate host? It's the Limnaea. What is your second intermediate host? Kangkong or watercress. So this is your Limnaeus snail. Yan. This is also known as your mud snail. Mud. No, sa putik nakikita. Second intermediate host is your Ipomea obscura or kangkong and watercress. Lab diagnosis is still stool. Sir, bakit stool? Nasa liver naman yan. Bakit napupunta sa stool? So, even though it's in the liver, sometimes pag nanganganak yung mga yan, dadaan sila sa intestines, no? There is a portal vein in the liver that connects pa rin into liver, tapos bile duct, tapos it connects to the uh, digestive system. So, lalabas pa rin sila sa stool. Okay? Next, so serology and radiologic techniques, no? So, pwedeng CT scan, MRI, or X-ray of the liver or the gallbladder or the bile ducts. So fascioliasis, acute stage, you have your migration of the juvenile parasite from intestine to the liver, asymptomatic, and but can experience dyspepsia, fever, right upper quadrant. Ito, RUQ, abdominal pain. Triad of diagnostic significance, sudden onset of fever, hepatomegaly, marked eosinophilia. These are also symptomatic, no? Pag chronic na yan, pag matagal ka nang merong ganyan, sometimes they are asymptomatic na, hindi mo alam na meron ka na pala. Adult worm causes obstruction and stimulates inflammation, subsequently causes fibrosis. For heavy infections, since nasa liver yan, cirrhosis, sisirain yung liver mo, or also known as your hepatic fascioliasis. Complications, pwedeng mag-obstructive jaundice, hemophilia, biliary cirrhosis, and acute pancreatitis. So as you can see, no, lahat or most of the disease associated with this particular parasite is related pa rin sa liver at saka sa bile ducts. No? So, ganun lang kasimple yan. I-diagnose. So, meron din tayong tatawag na ectopic fascioliasis. And sometimes they can be erratic na nagta-travel sila sa ibang organs such as lungs, subcutaneous tissues, brain, or orbit or sa mata. Meron din tayong tinatawag na Hal zone. Please take note of this, no? Importante ito. Hal zone or Marara. So, yung mga taga Middle East. So, this is common sa mga taga Middle East. So, meron kasi silang tradition sa Middle East na they tend to consume raw sheep liver, no? Kakainin nila yung mga atay ng kambing ng raw, no? Hindi linuluto. So, because of that, yung mga fashola, adult fashola, yan, imagine niyo yan. Those adult fashola would now attach to their esophagus, no? Or in their pharynges. So, ang nangyayari, pwede sila mag-attach sa nasopharynx, sa esophagus, no? Basta hindi pa sila pumupunta sa mismong liver kasi nga adult na sila eh, no? And then they would cause hemorrhagic nasopharyngitis and dysphagia or nahihirapan silang kumain, maglunok or kumain, no? Kasi nga may naka-attach na adult fasciola. And again, ang tawag doon, Halzun or Marara. Of course, prevention of control, proper human fecal disposal, sanitation, snail population, of course, patayin yung mga Limonea, avoiding human consumption ng raw water plants or contaminated water, or sometimes also yung mga kambing, yung mga ruminants. So, ayan, thorough cooking of intermediate hosts. By the way, yung mga ruminants, so they are katulad ng humans, they are also the definitive host. Treatment, we have your ticlabendazole, bithionol, and also praziquantel. Next, for your Clonorchis sinensis, the common name is your Chinese liver fluke. Commonly associated disease is your clonorchiasis. The target organ is also similar with the previous one, which is your liver and bile ducts. So, nakatira sila sa biliary tree and um, dito, so most of the discussions ng hermaphroditic or foodborne flukes, indistinguishable yung mga ova. But please take note, pag Clonorchis sinensis, medyo tinatanong sa board exam yung kanyang ova. No? Ano ba itsura ng ova niya? So, Chinese light bulb. So, later, I'll show it to you. So, common name is, so for your Opistorchis vilineus, cat liver fluke, for your Opistorchis vivereni, you have your Southeast Asian liver fluke. Okay? So, ayan. So pinagsama lahat yan, no? Clonorchis sinensis and Opistorchis. Okay. So, same lang yung ating life cycle. Ova, Miracidium, SRC. Ito yung snail, first intermediate host niya. Medyo marami yan eh. We have your Paraphosarulus, Bolinus. Yan, medyo sikat yun. Bolinus, Semisulcospira, Alosinma, Tiara, at saka Melanoides. Pero, yung Opistorchis, iisa lang yung kanya, which is yung Bithynia. Yan. Basta tandaan nyo, Clonorchis, napakadaming snails. Pag Opistorchis, iisa lang, Bithynia. For the second intermediate host, this is your freshwater fish, pero to be specific, yung mga karpa. Yung Cyprindae. Yung mga carp, no? So, ayan. So, ito po, paki-take note, pakilagyan ng star. Your Clonorchis sinensis ova, meron siyang tinatawag na old-fashioned light electric bulb, yung itsura niya. Okay? Bakit? Because it has a small knob on its um, opposite of the operculum. Ito. Okay, wait lang. Takpan na yan. So, ito po. And then, meron din siyang shoulders. Ito. Okay? So, sino yan? That's your Clonorchis sinensis. Anong itsura? Old-fashioned electric bulb. So, ayan. So, this is the knob. And then, meron siyang shoulders. So, this is the adult stage, which is meron siyang distinct na tinatawag na bottleneck appearance. So, imagine niyo mukha daw siyang bottleneck. Yan. Yung sa soft drinks. Yan. Mukha daw siyang bottle ng soft drinks. Ayan. Itong part na to, bottleneck appearance. For Europistorchis sinensis, yung kanilang main difference is uh, yung testis ng Opistorchis, uh, they are lobulated. Ayan, ito yung importante guys. So for your first intermediate host, again, for your Clonarchis sinensis, ayan, napakadami, no? Para Sarulus, Bulinus, Semosulcospira, Alucinma, Tiara, Melanoides. Pero pag Opistorchis, iisa lang, Bithynia. Okay, lahat yan, snail. In terms of the second intermediate host, meron tayong Cyprinidae, which is your carp. Ayan. Next. The diagnosis, it is also stool and radiology, cholangiography. Yan. Pag Clonorchiasis, asymptomatic light infections, heavy worm burden, and fever, abdominal pain, eosinophilia, diarrhea, epigastric discomfort, etc., etc. Now, in chronic infection, we have what we call liver dysfunctions. Okay? Now, for your epistorchiasis, pakitiktot po ito, no? Nagkukos din siya ng severe infections that are rare. And meron tayong tinatawag na cholangitis, cholecystitis, and cholangiocarcinoma. So, ano-ano po itong mga to? So, yung pamamaga ng gallbladder, yung pamamaga ng uh, gallbladder bile ducts, and of course, nagkakaroon ng tumors sa inyong mga gallbladder. Okay? Most serious complication for your Opistorchis viverrini, cholangiocarcinoma. So, same lang din. Proper sanitation practices, avoid ingestion ng raw undercooked and freshly picked na Cyprinidae, and treatment praziquantel at albendazole. And next is your lung fluke. So, isa lang naman to, and this is your Paragonimus westermani. The common name is your Oriental lung fluke. So, tandaan nyo, ang pinaka key dito is mukha siyang coffee bean. Ayan, lagi nyong tatandaan yan. Mukha daw siyang coffee bean. Okay? Commonly associated disease, we have your paragonimiasis and pulmonary dystomiasis. The target organ is lungs. So, somewhat oval and it has a prominent operculum and meron siyang obvious abopercular knob shell. Hindi pa rin, in the books, sabihin nila obvious, no? Pero technically, it's very difficult talaga, no? Especially if you're not trained enough, no, to notice it. For example, this picture, it's very difficult to see the abopercular knob. Ayan. In this picture, yes, makikita mo. Wait lang. Ayan. So, as you can see, ito yung operculum, ito yung abopercular knob. Again, you need a special training, no? So that you can notice this. So, it's very indistinguishable talaga. Most of the hermaphroditic flukes, except for Clonarchus sinensis. And for the adult stage, tandaan nyo, coffee bean. Tandaan nyo lang yan, coffee bean shape. Mukha daw siyang coffee bean. Okay? So, again, this is your adult Paragonimus coffee bean. So, similar lang. So, ova, may residuum, papasok sa snail, Antimalania asperata, tsaka Antimalania dactylis. Antimalania, sabihin nyo na lang Antimelania species. So that is the first intermediate host of your Paragonimus westermani. And then SRC, lalabas yung Cercaria. And then the second intermediate host, pakitandaan to because this is high yield sa mga board exam, tinatanong sa board exam. It's your Sundatelpusa. Sundatelpusa Pilipina. Yan. Philippines kasi yan, kaya ano, tinatanong sa board exam, no? Yan. Basta may kinalaman sa Pilipinas. So, ito yung crab na second intermediate host of your Paragonimus westermani, no? Sundatelpusa Pilipina. Basta proud Philippines, talagang lilitaw sa exam yun. For example, yung sa Echinostoma, di ba? Pila luzonica. So, ito naman, Sundatelpusa Filipina, yeah, which is the crab or the second intermediate host of your um, Paragonimus westermani. For your epidemiology, yan, Asia, Africa, and sometimes the pigs and monkeys can also serve as a reserva host. So this is the carrier ng Metacercaria, no? The Sundatelpusa filipina or the crab. You can also add crayfish, no? So pwede ring crayfish. Wala namang specific na species, no? But crayfish can also serve as your infective stage. Sorry. The carrier of the infective stage or the second intermediate host for your Paragonimus westermani. So for the lab diagnosis, since the habitat of your organ dwelling is lungs, of course, ang specimen mo would be sputum. So on the sputum, makakita ka ng eggs, no? Especially for your bloody samples. Stool specimen can be possible then if the sputum is swallowed, which is usually nangyayari naman. No? And serologic testing can also be done. So, meron tayong tinatawag na pulmonary dystomiasis. And this is the most common since this is a lung fluke. No? Meron tayong fever, cough, chest pain, and of course, hemoptysis. Pag sinabing hemoptysis, this is your bloody sputum or a blood-tinged sputum. Dystomiasis, chronic bronchitis, eosinophilia, production of fibrous tissue. Now, please take note that this particular parasite mimics tuberculosis. And most of the times, since lack of laboratory uh, lack of laboratory tawag dito, facility sa mga mahihirap na lugar, no? Usually, they misdiagnose yung Paragonimus westermani, no? Na may misdiagnose nila as TB. Okay? Kala nila TB, however, Paragonimus pala. So, nagkakaroon din ng misdiagnosis, therefore nagkakaroon ng maling treatment, hindi gumagaling yung pasyente because of that. So dun din papasok yung importansya ng medical technology or medical laboratory science. Another thing is the cerebral paragangliomyces. So sometimes nagiging erratic din to. They could migrate to the brain, no? And it would cause seizures, visual difficulties, and decreased precision of motor skills. So ayan, meron tayong ah, sa lungs. Ito yung sa lungs, no? That mimics TB. Ayan, bloody sputum or hemoptysis. And this is your cerebral. Okay. Prevention and control, of course, ulit-ulit lang tayo, sanitation, and lutuin ng maayos yung mga crabs. Treatment, praziquantel and biothianol. And yan. So, dito tayo sa second part. Mabilis lang to. And these are your schistosomes or your blood flux. Please take note na hindi na ito katulad ng mga hermaphroditic because they are dioecious or there are two separate sexes, no? Meron tayong males, meron tayong female. And also, ang kanilang organ of choice is sa blood. No? So, nasa blood vessels sila. Another thing is that in terms of their life cycle, iba rin, tatanggalin mo yung rhizia and wala na silang metacercaria stage. And because of that, the mode of transmission is instead of second intermediate whose ingestion, ang kanilang mode of transmission is skin penetration ng cercaria, which is yun nasa picture nyo. Yan, cercaria. So this is the infective stage nila. Tandaan nyo yan, no? Ayan. Ano pa ba? Okay, next. So these are the three common schistosoma species. We have your Schistosoma mansoni, also known as your Manson's blood fluke, Schistosoma japonicum, or also known as your blood fluke, and lastly, your Schistosoma hematobium, or also known as your bladder fluke. So the common disease is your schistosomiasis, the bilharziasis, swamp fever, and the Katayama fever. So pag sinabing schistosomiasis is recognized as the major parasite that cause of morbidity and occasionally mortality in sub-Saharan Africa. Ibig sabihin, dun sa mga mahihirap na lugar sa Africa, no? Hanggang ngayon, no, meron pa rin. Yan yung major cause of morbidity and mortality or mga nagkakasakit at namamatay. Sir, bakit Africa yan? Nasaan yung Pilipinas? Nangyayari ba yan sa Pilipinas? And the answer is yes. Meron din sa Pilipinas niyan. In fact, yung mga mahihirap na rural area, no? Makikita mo yung mga jaundice na yung mga bata. I think we have pictures later on. Mga kawawa sila. Namamaga yung kanilang mga tiyan, no? Dahil yung kanilang mga spleen namamaga, no? Kawawa sila. So, nagkakaroon sila ng tinatawag na schistosomiasis or bilharziasis. Additionally, that is also the picture na makikita nyo sa libro nyo kay Dr. Belisario because that is one of his main research, no, sa Pilipinas, yung mga schistosomes, no? So bukod um, sa mga STH or soil transmitted helminths, one of the main research of Dr. Belisario is about schistosomiasis in the whole country. Okay, now going back, the mode of transmission is via skin penetration ng Furcocercus or yun yung tawag na fork-tailed cercaria, yung picture kanina, no? And this could cause what we call swimmer's itch. Yan, sulat ko na, swimmer's itch. Ayan. Pag nag-penetrate yung sarcaria dun sa pasyente or sa tao, magkakaroon na tinatawag na swimmer's itch. For the intermediate host, meron tayong babanggitin na scientific name dito mamaya, which is tinatanong sa board exam, si uh, Oncomelania hupensis quadrasi. So later, susulat ko yan. No? The ova, again, it is non-operculated. Okay, please take note. One of the difference din pala yan with the former na mga foodborne or the hermaphroditic trematodes. These are non-operculated. Yung kanina, they are all operculated. And this is also considered as the most romantic parasite of men, no? Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na perpetual copulation. What do we mean by perpetual copulation? Once the male, this is the male, yung mas mataba, no? And then this is the female, yung mas payat. Yung may kanal, gynecophoral canal, ayan. Yan. Yung butas sa gitna. Papasok dyan yung female. That's why yung drawing niya is laging ganyan. No? Papasok sa loob yung female. So, pag pumasok na siya sa loob, forever na yan. And ano yung ginagawa nila? That is copulation. So, in other terms, nagsa-sexual intercourse sila forever. No? Hindi na sila maghihiwalay. So, that's why tinawag silang most romantic because once they copulate, forever na yon. Hindi na sila maghihiwalay. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan. For the schistosomes, di ba iba yung target organs nila? Pero tandaan nyo, since this is blood, yung mga blood vessels, to be specific, mga veins, no? For your Schistosoma japonicum, it's the superior mesenteric veins draining the small intestine. For your Schistosoma mansoni, inferior mesenteric veins draining the large intestine. Guys, tandaan nyo it doesn't mean na naka-bold and italicized itong mga to, yan lang yung sasagot nyo. Hindi po. Kasi pag yan lang sinagot nyo, then you're wrong. Dapat specific. The superior mesenteric veins in the small intestines. Inferior mesenteric veins in the large intestine. And lastly, for your Schistosoma hematobium, the vesicular or the pelvic venous plexuses ng bladder. Okay? Or pwede nyo na din sulat, portal venous plexus. Ayan. Sa ibang libro, ganyan naman eh. For the two of this, no, for Schistosoma japonicum and Schistosoma mansoni, you can just write portal venous plexus. Tapos for your hematobium, pwede nyo sulat your vesical, kasi nga vesicular, vesical venous plexus. Ayan. Kung yan yung sagot nyo as their habitat, then you're correct. Okay? So, ganun lang. Next. So, this is their life cycle. Quick review lang. They are unoperculated and with spines. Ayan. Unoperculated, walang operculum, with spines. And then, lalabas yung miracidium, the first stage larva, pupunta sa ating intermediate host. Siya lang, wala nang iba. Isa lang naman yung intermediate host natin this time. So, hindi na tayo dalawa, no? Isa lang. And sino yung ating intermediate host? That is your Oncomelania. Oncomelania species. Okay, next. Sa loob ng Oncomelania hupensis quadrasi, magiging siyang sporocyst, and then diretso na into Cercaria. And lalabas yung Cercaria sa tubig, and that is also the infective stage to the definitive host. And what is the mode of transmission? It's skin penetration. Ulitin natin. So you have your unoperculated, no? So walang operculum with spines na mga itlog, and then lalabas yung first larval stage, which is the miracidium. Ang miracidium pupunta sa intermediate host, which is your Oncomelania species na snails, and sa loob nila magiging sporocyst into the Cercaria. And lalabas yung Cercaria sa snails and mag-i-infect ng definitive host, which is your man. So that is your infective stage. What is the mode of transmission? And that is your skin penetration. Excuse me. And then next, tandaan nyo lang yung kanilang mga habitat. So you have your portal venous plexus for your Japonicum as well as your Mansoni, and your vesical venous plexuses for your hematobium. So this is the point of differentiation in terms of their ova. Okay, so for your Schistosoma mansoni, oblong shape, and meron siyang developed miracidium. Lahat naman sila may miracidium. Ba't ko pa sinulat yan? Ang spine niya, no? It is large and lateral. So, malaking oblong shape, tapos meron siyang malaking spine. Kapag naman Schistosoma japonicum, roundish bilog, tapos may maliit na spine. Sometimes hindi makikita. It's very difficult to see. Okay? And lastly, pag hematobium, it is oblong, pero instead of lateral, it is terminal. Okay? Diretso lang. Okay? So, ito nasa gilid. Ito, diretso sa pinaka baba. Okay? So, let's try. Next. So, as you can see, ayan, for your Mansoni, it's large and lateral. For your Schistosoma japonicum, nasan kaya dito? Ito ba yan? Mahirap makita, no? But it should be small and lateral. Pero roundish siya. Yan lang naman ang main point of this differentiation. Bilog si japonicum. And hematobium, it is terminal. Direktong sa baba. Okay? So again, this is your hematobium, Mansoni, and this is your bilog siya. So this is your Japonic. Ang tawag dito is your Ferrocircus, yung Y shape, no? And this is your adult stage. This is your male. Sa loob yung female. Lalaki yung may gynecophoral canal. So this is the only trematode that has separate sexes since they are dioecious. Okay? The female is mas mahaba and the male is yung mas maikli pero may gynecophoral canal. And for their epidemiology, ayan, yung Mansoni is considered as old world, prevalent in Africa and the other endemic areas. Sa Pilipinas, we have your Schistosoma japonicum. Again, since nasa Pilipinas yan, kailangan mong tandaan yung kanyang intermediate host. So, Oncomelania hupensis quadrasi. Okay? Again, sino yan? Yan yung intermediate host for your Schistosoma japonicum. Oncomelania hupensis quadrasi. Next, we have your lab diagnosis. Kahit kalimutan mo na lahat yan, tandaan mo lang to. Merthiolate iodine formalin concentration technique, no? So, iba yung kanyang concentration technique, no? Ang alam nyo na si FECT, formalin ether, tsaka si zinc sulfate. So, sa kanya, for your schistosoma, we have your merthiolate iodine formalin concentration technique. We can also do Cato-Cats technique. But the mode of choice for the Philippines is also known as your COPT or your Fearless test. Ano yung COPT? That is your circumoval precipitin or precipitation test. Precipitation test. Okay? Kanino yan? That is for your schistosoma species. COPT or your circumoval precipitation test, also known as your Fearless test. This is the method of choice in the Philippines. So, ano nangyayari ba dyan? So, ang nangyayari lang dyan, ayan, you, the specimen of choice is serum ng pasyente mo, and you can just put the serum, yung ating antigen or yung kanyang buffer solution. Tapos kapag nagkaroon ng reaction, yan. So titignan mo siya sa microscope. Tingnan mo. Pag nagkaroon ng distinct bubble-like or finger-like precipitates around the eggs, no? Then of course it's positive for schistosoma. Okay. So the the antibodies, no, could easily detect the schistosoma eggs. So schistosomiasis asymptomatic can be light infection, brown hematine pigment found in the phagocytes, no? Pwede rin na inflammation on the penetration site, which is the swimmer's itch. Okay? Abdominal pain, fever, chills, weight loss, cough, bloody diarrhea, and of course, eosinophilia. For schistosoma hematobium, since yung bladder, no, yung veins sa bladder, yung pinupuntahan niya, there is also additional painful urination. And in lumang panahon, especially in Egypt, no, ito yung tinatawag nilang menstruation of men, mga lalaki. Okay? Kapag umiihi sila ng dugo or hematuria, okay, in ancient Egypt, kala nila nagbe-menstruation yung mga lalaki. But the truth is, it is caused by this particular parasite, Schistosoma hematobium. It could also cause anemia, necrosis, lesions, and granulomas, and obstruction of bowel and ureters, secondary bacterial infection, involvement of CNS. Ang anemia niya, ayan, naka-bold pala yan, is chronic microcytic. Sometimes normal din sila, normocytic anemia. So bakit kakaroon ng anemia? So this, since nasa blood vessels sila or their blood flux, meron silang mga enzymes that could break down the blood, no? Kasi doon sila nakatira eh. So doon sila nasisira nila yung mga red blood cells. So therefore, magpo-produce ng katawan mo ng red blood cells to the point na pag marami na siyang pinoproduce, lumiliit na yung mga cells na yon. That's why nagiging silang microcytic. And of course, pag mas maraming bleeding and maraming namamatay na red blood cells, nagkakaroon ka ng anemia. Okay? And this is your swimmer's itch. Okay? Yung kung saan nag-penetrate yung cercaria. And this is your Katayama fever. No? It's or the bilharziasis or the swamp fever. It's the systemic hypersensitivity reaction to the schistosomulae migrating through the tissue. So, pag nasa loob mo na yung schistosoma, yung cercaria, nag-evolve na siya, papunta na siya sa adult stage. Yung in between that, that is the schistosomulae. And kapag hinahanap niya na yung habitat niya, so pagka-penetrate niya sa'yo, hanapin niya na yung habitat niya, it would cause what we call the Katayama fever. So fever, nausea, myalgia, malay, fatigue, cough, diarrhea, or eosinophilia. So ayan, nakikita niyo na nakakatakot tingnan. So ayan, itong pagre-red na yan yung pag-travel nung ng schistosoma dun sa habitat niya gusto niya. Okay? And of course, yung pinakamalalang komplikasyon, ayan, sa Pilipinas to, no? Hepatic complications. Ito sa Africa. Itong dalawa sa Pilipinas yan. Okay? There are two reasons bakit lumalaki yung tiyan, no? First reason is yung splenomegaly, yung spleen, lumalaki. Alam niyo naman, ano kasing spleen? That's the graveyard of your RBCs. No? So if there are continuous destruction ng RBCs due to your adult stage schistosoma, pupunta yung mga patay na RBCs sa spleen to the point na namamaga siya. Okay, so ganun po yun. Another reason is immune reaction of the body from the parasite eggs. So kapag natrap yung during the Katayama fever, during the traveling ng schistosome usual, minsan natatrap sila on liver or the spleen, there would come a severe organ swelling. Okay, nagkakaroon ng scarring or ng fluid buildup in those uh, in the organ. Okay? So, ganun po siya. So, delikado siya. For your prevention and control, ulit-ulit lang tayo. For sanitation, control ng snail, to be specific, yung Oncomelania, kung sa Pilipinas, Oncomelania hupensis quadrasi, and chemotherapy with praziquantel. And these are your treatment, praziquantel, oxaminiquine. And that's it. Okay, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me or approach me during our face-to-face um, next face-to-face na klase. Okay? Hopefully bukas magkita na tayo sa Tuesday, no? Um, with regards naman sa quiz nyo, as of now, it's scheduled next week. Pero let's hope and let's pray na ma-move yung ating school calendar para at least we still have one more week, no, to prepare, or 2 more weeks rather to prepare before the major exam. But for now, since wala pa namang official announcement, no, the original school calendar still sits, then the quiz for your trematodes is next week. Okay? So that's it. Thank you and God bless. Ingat kayo lagi sa ulan, no? Huwag kayong lalagnatin. Inom ng vitamins and maligo. Okay?